Yesterday in a live stream by the Pokemon Company in Japan, they revealed that they will literally release 100 different decks in some form of Japanese mega set. And these decks will be created from a library of over 400 different cards. A lot of them are reprints of previous cards, which is actually better news than you might think. And of course, a lot of them are completely new cards or use new alternate artworks. So is this something you should be looking out for? Is it something you should be investing in? And more importantly, what cards are actually in this release? The 10k sub special video has been slightly delayed because of lockdown in Sydney, but hopefully it all goes well and it should be out either tomorrow or the day after. Now, if you're not already excited, let me give you a clue as to what's coming. For 100 subs, I gave away $100, and for 1,000 subs, I gave away $1,000. So for 10,000 subs, well, I'll let you do the maths. But trust me when I tell you that you do not want to miss out on what's coming, so make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel so you see the special video when it comes out. Alright, so what exactly does it mean when they say they'll release 100 different decks? Well, they're not completely different. Essentially, there's a pool of 414 cards, and using those cards, they will make 100 different decks, which contain 60 cards each. So obviously, there's going to be a lot of overlap within each deck, but I'm not really sure why they needed to make 100 different ones. I haven't played the TCG in a while, but there's essentially zero chance that all 100 decks are even remotely viable. I feel like if they made 20 or 30 decks, that would still be more than enough to try out different decks and mechanics and not have such a huge overlap within each deck. Now, when you buy this product, which is called the Start Deck 100, you will randomly get one of the 100 decks. So if you look here, you'll see that one of the decks will contain Bolton V, Emolga, and Shinx. These are all new cards, but we'll get to that in a moment. If you look at the top right of this particular deck, it's labeled 70 out of 100. And similar to that, each deck will be labeled from 1 to 100. Now, although it doesn't say anything here, my guess would be that each of the 100 decks will have a couple of big V and VMAX cards that the rest of the deck will revolve around. So essentially 2 or 3 big cards, and the rest is your normal filler commons and uncommons, which you obviously need in a deck. Now, I won't go through every single card and deck in detail because there's already videos by people who know much more about that field. I'm going to talk more about the new cards, how you can get them, should you be buying and investing in them, and how we will get them in English. So each of these decks are releasing in Japan on December 17th for 790 yen each, which converts to about $7 to $8, which is a really good price. And considering they don't really have any chase cards or any crazy reprints, I don't think it will be scalped as heavily as like every other product recently. So hopefully this is good news for players to be able to actually play the decks, and I know a lot of collectors like these kind of starter decks and potentially exclusive cards, so hopefully it should be reasonable to get your hands on. So some of the new cards that have been revealed are Kingler V, which is just a pretty standard looking crab. Then there's Kingler VMAX, which I think looks absolutely hilarious. My guy looks like he's about to come down your chimney and leave you presents for Christmas. That's going to be one of my favorite regular VMAX cards. We've got a new Pikachu card, which is always going to get some people excited. I think the card itself looks great, but also potentially very worrying, which I'll explain in a second. There's a brand new Zamazenta V card, which looks just amazing. Like, look how badass this dude looks. Sick looking card. And usually whenever we see Zamazenta, Zacian is not too far behind. So we could potentially see a new Zacian card as well. Which cards would you like to see reprinted in this set? Let me know in the comments. It might be cards that you like the artwork of, or cards that you want to be able to play in the TCG. We've also got Greedent, the fat little squirrel hoarding these nuts. I mean, there's not really much else to say about that. If you haven't already noticed, by the way, each of these cards are labeled from 1 out of 414, so it really is like a Japanese mega set, which is insane. Some other new cards being released include Team Yell's Cheer, which is going to feature these budget Team Magma bozos. We're going to get a new Barry card, who is a rival in Diamond and Pearl. Now, my prediction is that it's going to be a regular card in this set, and then in the Diamond and Pearl theme sets we get next year, we're going to see a full art Barry trainer card. We're also getting a new card called Marnie's Pride. Now, let's quickly talk about why this could be a bit worrying. Well, we've already seen people completely scalp a product to get a Marnie card, so if they made a new exclusive Marnie in this set, things could get real ugly real fast. Because remember, when you buy the start deck, you randomly get one of the 100 decks. So if an exclusive Marnie is in only one of them, you have a 1 in 100 chance of getting the deck that has her in it, making her not only exclusive, but also extremely rare. And considering the decks are only about $7 each, I would not be surprised at all if people literally went out and bought hundreds just to pull the money. It's crazy to say that, but the demand for these waifus is on a whole nother level. I genuinely hope for the sake of the players and collectors that it's just a regular Marnie card and nothing crazy, or else unfortunately these will definitely be scalped and resell for 3 to 4 times more than retail, if not more, which will make getting these cards and completing this mega set even more insanely difficult than it already is. Now, like I was saying, there are some alternate art reprints of previously released cards. So we've got this Bolton V, which is an alternate art reprint of the one from Fusion Strike, which is funny because we're getting alternate art reprints of leaked cards from a set that hasn't even been released in another set which also hasn't been released. The amount of new Pokemon stuff coming out is getting a little bit crazy. There's also an alternate art reprint of Stoutland V from Battle Styles, as well as a new Shinx from Battle Styles and an Emolga from Evolving Skies. Let's quickly look at some of the direct reprints. So there's Jolteon V and Umbreon V, which is nice nice to get some more availability on evolutions from EV heroes. There's a Tyranitar V from Battle Styles, Venusaur V, and then Rayquaza V and Rayquaza VMAX from Skystream or Evolving Skies. There's also a reprint of Ultra Ball and Crushing Hammer, which means they will be competitively legal in the TCG for another 2 years, which I know a lot of people will be happy about. Now these reprints are really good to see, because some of these cards are still a bit difficult to get your hands on, so this reprint will make them much more affordable and reasonable to get, which is always good news. Now a question many of you may be wondering is how will we get these cards in English? Well, I don't think we're going to be getting an English version of the Start 100 deck. That seems like much more of a Japanese thing, and it wouldn't really make sense with the English product lineup. So if I had to guess, I would say most likely we'll get a few starter decks, some of which will have the new cards and alternate art cards as promos on the front, and I think the rest of the new cards and reprints will just be inserted into the next couple of English sets, so like Fusion Strike and VMAX Climax. Speaking of which, it was a bit anticlimactic to see this livestream hyped up and rumors of new products and heaps of stuff, but we didn't even get to hear anything new about VMAX Climax or the Diamond and Pearl sets, but hopefully we get some new information soon. Alright, so should you be buying and investing in this Japanese set? Well, from what we've seen so far, I would have to say no. This set, or these decks, whatever you want to call it, are more catered towards players and people who want to try out different deck combinations and play different decks. From a collector's perspective, I think we definitely give this one a pass. I don't really see it doing well long term, and most likely it will be pretty cheap and affordable for a very long time. Yes, I know there's some new and alternate art cards, but these will probably come over to English as promos or regular cards and be much cheaper and easier to get anyway. And if you like the Japanese versions, you're better off just buying them separately. Other than that, the Start Deck 100 is definitely a hard pass. Unless they do actually include an exclusive full art Marnie or something, in which case I'll be making an update video immediately, so make sure you like and subscribe so you stay up to date. Until then, thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one.